Hey, welcome back to Shop Binge Builds here. And today is the day. Actually, today is a Friday. Today I have off from work. So today we keep working. Boring the hole then. Gonna get the gooseneck in so I can put the rails across so I can locate everything. So I can start building the mount once I get the bed back off the truck. So I have been looking around at different installations and directions for trucks, and what I am finding is that the center line of the rear axle is our reference point, so side to side. Basically what I did is I took the wheel wed front to back, cut it in half, and then I think that was like 18 inches. So I put a point there and put a little bit of mark there, struck a line across, and that gives us our center point of the bed, or the center point, the center line of the axle. And everything that I'm reading is anywhere from 2 to 4 inches in front of the rear axle. So coming off of here, I would just find rough number for that. But ultimately, it's going to be center line of the rear axle, and that's going to be forward just a couple inches. So what I'm doing is I am actually setting it up for 2.5 inches in front of the rear axle. I was initially going to go with 3, but I'm backing it off to 2.5. And that's based off of the information on an F-150 rail kit from Kurt Manufacturing. And it says basically right here, the hole location is critical for the correct installation of this hitch. Measure, mark, and saw carefully. This location will put the ball 2 inches in front of the axle. So I figure that would be a good point. That'll give me front to back balance when I put the trailer on, put a load on it. So the wheels are pretty much centered in the hole. So the axle will be right there in line with it. So that's pretty much where we're going to go. So instead of get her cutting. All right, welcome back. Here we are. So the hole's cut, 4-inch hole. I'll tell you, that's an unnerving thing to do that. I have a support across here, as you can see, to bring the gooseneck hitch up in the air against the bed. And this is the gooseneck for the F-150, my tow rig for this. Got to have more than one that has a gooseneck, right? And these are some old channel pieces I had off an old gooseneck that I was originally used, and I just used just a regular drill, do some pilot holes, and then I have a carbide tip cutter that I've actually done in these 9/16 holes. And you may have seen me on previous videos on YouTube use that. That and a much larger one for the shackles and stuff. But a little bit of slop, but she'll tighten up nicely. So I'll get this cleaned up and test fit it. I got to drill the other one that I have here too. Make a mirror image, and I think we'll be in some business. So, side note. Bed clearance on the underside of this frame is tight, to say the least. So you'll notice that one side is tall, one side is short. So we're going to hopefully get the short side in, position this so that it'll lock right into place. What I'm going to do is tighten this up to this piece that's underneath, and then set it down on the chassis. Get some measurements side to side, and then line it as far as putting scribe lines on it so we get our location. And then from there, remove the bed and do all the other fun stuff. Just need to, the reason why I'm doing this is to get the location for everything underneath, because like I said, I got to build some custom plates for not only the gooseneck but also the airbags. So hopefully I get everything pulled together. And I'm hoping I can bolt right to the top of this. That would be a beautiful thing. But we'll see. More in a bit. Welcome back to the shop. Binge Builds here. Today we're continuing on with, well, that's all one video I think I'm making it as. But got the gooseneck here. It's the next day from when I did the hole and stuff. Trying to stuff in these rails for the gooseneck. They're 3/8 angle or bent steel. They're just too tall. They're like 2 inches by 3 inches. So I figured I could change them around and do the shallow side, but still it's just not working. So what we're gonna do is, well, what I've done, gone to the scrap yard, and if you guys need plate steel and stuff, go to a local scrap yard. Say, hey, I need a piece this size. What do you think you guys got? And you're probably gonna save half of what going to a metal store is. Metal shop wanted, well, I've had quotes as high as $280 for this piece of steel. And I had another quote of 150 some, but that's a reasonable, I thought. But I'm like, hey, what about a scrap yard? Let's see what they have. So I called them up. They says, yeah, we have scrap here if you want to, we have plate here if you want to come and look. So I went down there, met up with a guy down there, real cool about it, and we went out to the yard and spotted some. I was initially looking for 3/8. This is 1/2 inch, so we're putting 1/2 inch on there for a plate. I don't think that's going to move. And you can see what basically I'm designing to do here. These are the airbag mounts. So when we put the airbags on, this is actually wider than what it needs to be. So what I'll be doing is cutting it right about there and slicing this off with the plasma on both sides once I position everything. Cutting a hole out here for the gooseneck mount, the plate. And once that's all done, and I get this deburred and stuff, what I'll do is I'll put this underneath and then re-raise that plate that's in the bed right now. I'll raise that back up. And I'll put a tack weld here on the one side. It's on the back side of the, it's going to be on the back side towards the rear end of the truck. And tack welds on this, bring everything out, weld it up 100%. Don't know if I'm going to use stick or MIG. I think I'm going to use stick on that. I have some rod, I believe. Just want to fry it in because, it's 3/8 and 1/2 inch, and it needs a good weld. I don't need this to fail on me on the road. Rambling. From there, we'll get it back on there. We'll drill 3 holes each side here to go into the frame rail. And then we'll get the final position for this airbag mount, slice this, radius these edges here to make it so it's not intrusive in the back end. And trim this off or just butt this up and weld it down, and that should be it. Put 3 holes in here, 3 holes in there on each side. That's 6 bolts. That should hold it. Yeah, that should hold it, I would say. We'll try to figure this out. This is what we do. All right, remember, built, not bought. Well, buying scrap, that's comical there. But I'll make this a little bit bigger. There is a little bit of a bend down on the frame in the front, so I don't know if it's going to be shimmed or try to heat this and bend it. I don't think I'm going to bend this too easily, even putting heat to it. So they'll most likely be shimmed up with them plates. I think it'll work nicely. So yeah, that's it. This weighs about 75 pounds. That weighs about 40 pounds. So, we're going to have 300 pounds or 150, 200 pounds worth of steel on the back end of this truck over the axle as it is. So, wish me luck. I'll do a follow-up video once I get further along with this. So, talk to you later. Bye. Alright, so here we are. Later in the day. You see it's in there. So next we got to put this up into place. Put some tackies on this. And then, weld that up a little bit more, and then bring it out here and drill some holes. We ended up using cutoff wheels to slice down through. Plasma cutter would not cut through all the way, so I was melting tips and stuff, and I'm like, instead of doing that, let me do it this way. So it's cut. We'll get it fitted, get it tacked, and so actually it's going to be raised up about like that. So it's like right at the bottom of this, about like that. So we'll get her welded in, but slow work, slow work. But that's the best part about it. Take our time, we have time. So we'll get this done, get the fuel line or the fuel fill in the bed situated, permanently bolt the bed down with your airbags and stuff, and then yeah, sorry, it's been a long day, a lot of hand work here. So anyway, we'll see y'all later. I'm going to hit the shower. Bye.